Have you ever come across a woman who makes you pause, tilt your head, and quietly think to yourself, she can't possibly be that age? It happened to me not long ago in a little cafe in Northern California. There was a woman ahead of me in line, standing tall with silver hair that shimmered like silk, her skin soft and radiant in the morning light. The young barista smiled at her and said, "Ma'am, you don't look a day over 60. She laughed gently and leaned closer, whispering her real age, 82. That woman's name is Evelyn. And let me tell you, Evelyn is not a woman who has spent thousands of dollars on cosmetic treatments. She has never gone under the knife. She doesn't line her bathroom shelves with expensive jars of creams that promise miracles. Her secret is as ordinary as it is extraordinary. It lives quietly in her kitchen cabinet, just as it did in her mother's and grandmother's homes, castor oil, and a small box of baking soda. I'm Dr. Lisa Perriera, a board-certified gynecologist with over 30 years of experience caring for women through every stage of life. Over those years, I've met countless women who believe that their best years are behind them once they cross into their 60s. They tell me they feel invisible, that their reflection no longer matches the vibrant woman they still feel inside. But Evelyn's story is living proof that aging gracefully doesn't have to mean fading quietly into the background. What struck me most about Evelyn wasn't just the softness of her skin or the strength of her hair, it was her spark. The way she carried herself, the calm confidence in her voice. She radiated the kind of beauty that isn't bought, it's nurtured. And as she shared her story with me, I realized something important. Her secret wasn't just about two ingredients. It was about a mindset, a rhythm, and a return to the simplicity our grandmothers once knew. In the next few minutes, I want to invite you to step into Evelyn's world, to see how a woman in her 80s could glow with such vitality, using nothing more than castor oil and baking soda, two humble, inexpensive ingredients backed by both tradition and science. We'll explore the exact way she uses them, the biological reasons they work, and how you can adapt her ritual to your own life, no matter your age or where you live. Now I know what you might be thinking. Could something this simple really make a difference? Aren't there newer, fancier products that claim to work faster, better, stronger? Those are fair questions, and I hear them often in my office. But here's the truth. Sometimes the simplest solutions, the ones our grandmothers quietly practiced for decades, turn out to be the most sustainable, safe, and deeply nourishing. Evelyn didn't stumble upon this routine by accident. In her 50s, like many of us, she began noticing changes, dry, dull skin hair that felt weaker, and a certain tiredness that no amount of makeup could cover. Instead of surrendering, she remembered the old rituals her mother used in the Italian countryside where she grew up. A thick braid glistening with oil, a weekly scrub made from whatever was at hand. She decided to return to those roots, not to chase youth, but to honor herself. And here's the most beautiful part. Within weeks of reintroducing these practices, Evelyn didn't just see her skin soften or her hair regain luster. She felt alive again, seen, cared for. She once told me, it wasn't about turning back the clock. It was about finally recognizing the woman in the mirror as someone worthy of love. That's the message I want to share with you today. Because this isn't about vanity, and it certainly isn't about chasing perfection. It's about finding confidence, energy, and dignity through rituals that are accessible to every woman. 2 ingredients, a little time, and the willingness to believe that caring for yourself is never too late. So let's begin Evelyn's story together. One of the most common patterns I see among women in their 60s, 70s, and beyond is frustration. You try to take care of yourself, but somehow it feels like no matter what you do, your skin looks duller, your hair weaker, your energy lower. And I want you to know something, it's not your fault. Many of us have been taught habits that simply don't serve us as we age. Let me share 4 of the most common mistakes, and you may recognize yourself in one or all of them. The first mistake is overcomplicating. The beauty industry loves to sell us 10-step routines filled with serums, acids, and creams that cost more than a week's worth of groceries. Yet dermatologists agree, mature skin doesn't need complexity, it needs consistency. Every extra product increases the chance of irritation. I can't tell you how many women have walked into my office with red, inflamed cheeks from layering too many creams meant for younger skin. Evelyn never fell into this trap. She simplified, returning to one oil and one natural cleanser, nothing more, and her skin thanked her for it. The second mistake is over-exfoliating. As women, we've been taught to scrub away years of aging. But the truth is, aggressive scrubs or harsh chemical peels can thin already delicate skin. After menopause, our natural oils decline and our skin barrier becomes fragile. Scraping at it with rough tools or daily exfoliants only accelerates the damage. Baking soda, when used as Evelyn does sparingly just once a week, mixed with something soothing like honey, offers a much gentler way. It lifts away dullness without tearing at the surface, a little like polishing silver with a soft cloth instead of a wire brush. The third mistake is neglecting hydration. Many women tell me they drink less water because they're afraid of nighttime bathroom trips. Others simply forget to moisturize because they've never needed to before. But as estrogen levels fall, your skin naturally produces less sebum, the oil that keeps it supple. The result? That papery, tight feeling. Castor oil shines here. Rich in ricinoleic acid, it acts like a seal, locking in water and softening fine lines. Evelyn uses just a few drops at night, pressing them into damp skin, letting the oil work overnight while she sleeps. And the fourth mistake is focusing only on the outside. We spend energy trying to fix the reflection without addressing what fuels it. Poor sleep stress and constant rushing will etch themselves on your face faster than any wrinkle cream can erase. Evelyn practices what she calls gentle discipline. She stretches, hydrates, avoids unnecessary drama, and spends time each day in sunlight and stillness. These rituals calm her body from the inside, allowing her skin to reflect that peace on the outside. Now let me pause and ask you a question. Which of these mistakes do you recognize in your own routine? Do you sometimes feel tempted by those glossy advertisements promising miracle results? Have you scrubbed too hard, hoping to reveal fresher skin, only to end up with more dryness? You're not alone. Most women I meet nod their heads in recognition, often with a sigh of relief that it's not just them. Here's where Evelyn's story is different. Instead of chasing after the latest promise, she looked backward to traditions that were proven safe and supported by both memory and science. Her mother didn't own an expensive jar of cream. Her grandmother didn't know about high-tech exfoliants. Yet both women had radiant skin and strong, healthy hair. Why? Because they used what nature gave them with care and moderation. Castor oil and baking soda weren't fads. They were fixtures. Modern science now helps us understand why. Castor oil, with its anti-inflammatory and deeply moisturizing fatty acids, soothes skin and protects collagen. Baking soda used carefully helps reset the skin by clearing away buildup that dulls the surface. When combined, they do what complicated routines often fail to deliver. They hydrate, they refresh, and they do it gently. And the best part, they cost less than a single bottle of drugstore cream. There's something empowering about that, isn't there? That you don't need to spend hundreds of dollars to care for yourself with dignity. That the tools to restore your glow may already be in your kitchen. In just a moment, I'll walk you through exactly how Evelyn uses castor oil and baking soda step by step in a way that's safe and effective. But before we go there, I want you to reflect on this. What if the true mistake isn't dry skin or thinning hair? What if the real mistake is believing that aging means you stop deserving care? Because once you reclaim that belief, once you choose to nourish yourself again, even the simplest rituals can bring back your spark. Evelyn is living proof. And in part 3, I'll show you how you can make her ritual your own. Now let's get practical, because I know many of you are thinking, all right, Dr. Lisa, this sounds interesting, but what exactly does Evelyn do, and how could I try it for myself? The beauty of her ritual is that it's simple, affordable, and doesn't require you to overhaul your entire life. Let me walk you through it, step by step. Evelyn begins her mornings with water both inside and out. She drinks a glass as soon as she wakes up, because hydration doesn't start with creams, it starts within. Then she splashes her face with warm water. No harsh soap, no foaming cleansers, just water and a soft cloth. This small step preserves the natural oils her skin still produces, which is crucial after 60 when that protective barrier becomes thinner. While her skin is still damp, she applies 2 or 3 drops of cold-pressed castor oil. That's it. She warms it gently between her fingers and presses it into her cheeks, forehead, and around her mouth. Not rubbing, just pressing. Why? Because pressing helps the oil absorb without tugging at delicate skin. Castor oil is thick, it takes its time to sink in. And that's part of its magic. Dermatologists call it an occlusive, meaning it locks in the water already on your skin, preventing it from evaporating. Evelyn swears that this simple act keeps her skin plump and soft all day long. In the evenings, she follows the same ritual with one small addition. If she's worn makeup or sunscreen, she uses a dab of olive oil on a warm cloth to wipe it away. Then comes her castor oil, always just a few drops, never heavy layers. This nightly rhythm signals to her body, the day is done. It's time to rest. Once a week, usually on Sunday evening, Evelyn does her baking soda ritual. This is her grandmother's recipe, and it's stood the test of time. She takes 1 teaspoon of baking soda and mixes it with either water, honey, or aloe vera gel. Sometimes she adds a drop of chamomile tea if she's feeling fancy. She stirs it into a soft paste and gently smooths it onto her damp skin. She leaves it there for just 3 to 5 minutes, no longer. Then she rinses with warm water and pats her face dry. Immediately afterward, she presses in her castor oil again. The result is a gentle reset. Think of it like polishing a window. You're not scraping at it, you're just wiping away the fog so the light can shine through. That's what baking soda does when used carefully. It lifts away dead cells that make skin look dull, revealing the fresher layer beneath. And I can't stress this enough, it's a less is more ritual. Once a week is enough. Any more, and you risk irritating your skin's natural acidity, what dermatologists call the acid mantle. Evelyn's wisdom was in restraint. Now, what if you want to start this yourself? Here's the beginner's roadmap I recommend to my patients. Week 1. Start only with castor oil at night. Just 2 drops on damp skin before bed. See how your skin feels in the morning. If it feels softer, you're on the right track. Week 2, continue nightly castor oil and add a drop to your cuticles or even your lips. Castor oil isn't just for your face, it can help strengthen brittle nails and soothe dry lips too. Week 3. If your skin feels comfortable, try the baking soda paste once. Remember, small amount, short time, followed by castor oil. Then pause. Wait a full week before doing it again. This slow introduction gives your skin time to adjust. It also gives you time to observe. Because no 2 women are the same. Some of you may find castor oil feels too heavy. That's okay. You can mix it with a lighter oil like jojoba or almond. Some of you may find baking soda a little drying. In that case, skip it altogether and focus on the oil. Evelyn always says, your skin will tell you what it needs if you listen. What I love most about this ritual is that it's not just about skincare. It's about creating a moment. Evelyn doesn't rush. She takes a deep breath, applies her oil, and whispers a little gratitude for her day. That pause is as nourishing as the ingredients themselves. When you pair science with mindfulness, you create more than a routine, you create a ritual that sustains both body and spirit. So here's my challenge for you. Tonight, when you wash your face, don't just rush through it. Take a few extra seconds. Press in a drop of oil with care. Notice how your skin feels under your fingertips. Ask yourself, what does my body need tonight? That small act of awareness is where radiant aging begins. In a moment, we'll go deeper into the science, why castor oil and baking soda actually work at the biological level, and how they support your skin's structure as it changes with age. But first, let me ask you if something this simple could help you feel softer, calmer, and more radiant. Wouldn't it be worth trying? When Evelyn first began her simple ritual, she thought of it only as a small act of self-care. A few drops of oil at night, a weekly reset with baking soda. But over time, something remarkable happened. Her daughter, who lives nearby, started noticing. "Mum," she said one afternoon, "you look different, softer, happier. What are you doing?" Evelyn just smiled and shrugged. It wasn't that she looked 20 years younger, it was that she carried herself differently. She had a lightness in her step, a new energy in her voice. I've seen this pattern before. In my practice, I once had a patient named Lillian, a retired teacher in her 70s. She came to me feeling invisible. She wore oversized sweaters, avoided mirrors, and often said, "It doesn't matter anymore, Lisa. I'm too old to worry about skin." But when I encouraged her to try a simple nightly ritual, nothing expensive, just oil water, and a moment of gratitude, she returned months later, transformed. Her words still echo in my mind. For the first time in years, I feel like I see myself again. This is the heart of Evelyn's story, and Lillian's too. It's not about chasing youth, it's about reclaiming presence. When you pause to care for yourself, even with something as humble as castor oil, you're telling your body and your spirit, you still matter. That message shines through in every interaction. People notice not just your skin, but your spark. Think of it like tending a garden. A neglected garden doesn't lose its worth. It just needs water, sunlight, and a little care. With patience, flowers bloom again, vines stretch toward the light, and what once looked tired becomes vibrant. Our bodies are no different. Aging isn't the end of beauty, it's the soil where deeper beauty can grow if we're willing to nurture it. Evelyn treats her nightly ritual like watering her garden, gentle, steady, faithful. And the blossoms are visible not only on her face, but in her spirit. I know many of you watching may carry doubts. You've tried creams that promised miracles and felt disappointed. You've looked in the mirror and thought, maybe this is just what aging looks like. And yes, aging brings changes we cannot erase. But what Evelyn reminds us is that embracing simplicity doesn't mean giving up. It means choosing a path of dignity and care. Even the science supports this. Chronic inflammation. What researchers now call inflammaging quietly speeds up skin decline. But rituals that calm the skin, like the anti-inflammatory properties of castor oil, can slow that process. Gentle exfoliation, like Evelyn's once-a-week baking soda polish, can trigger new cell turnover. These small acts add up like drops of water slowly filling a glass. They don't erase time, but they soften it. and the emotional transformation is just as powerful. Studies show that women who maintain self-care routines, no matter how simple, report higher confidence and lower levels of depression. Why? Because those routines become rituals of respect. They anchor us, remind us we are worthy of attention. Evelyn says it best: when I press the oil into my skin, I'm not just feeding my face. I'm telling myself, I still belong here. So let me ask you, when was the last time you looked at your reflection with kindness instead of criticism? When was the last time you treated your nightly routine not as a chore, but as a sacred pause? If it's been too long, Evelyn's story is your reminder it's never too late to begin again. In part 5, we'll recap Evelyn's wisdom, tie it back to the science, and leave you with a clear, hopeful message that aging gracefully is less about erasing lines and more about honoring the life behind them. But before we go there, I want you to sit with this thought. Every wrinkle is a story, every laugh line a memory, every silver strand a sign of resilience. And when you care for yourself with patience and love, those stories shine even brighter. So let's pause for a moment and look back at what Evelyn has really shown us. At 82 years old, she isn't defying age, she's embracing it. Her secret isn't hidden in a jar that costs hundreds of dollars. It isn't surgery injections or chasing the next miracle product. It's castor oil, baking soda, and most importantly, the mindset that caring for yourself is never a waste of time. We began with her morning ritual: just water, a cloth, and a few drops of oil pressed gently into damp skin. We saw her evening rhythm: simple cleansing, a touch of oil, a moment of gratitude. And we learned about her weekly reset: the baking soda paste, used sparingly, like polishing glass, so the light can shine through. None of these steps are complicated. None of them are expensive. But together, they form a ritual that nourishes not just the skin, but the spirit. Science confirms what tradition already knew. Castor oil, rich in ricinoleic acid, locks in hydration, reduces inflammation, and supports collagen. Baking soda used with care lifts away dullness and helps the skin reset. These are not gimmicks, they are tools. Affordable, accessible, and effective when used wisely. But beyond the science, Evelyn's story reminds us of something deeper. The true power of this ritual isn't just what it does to the surface of the skin, it's how it makes you feel inside. When Evelyn presses those drops of oil into her cheeks each night, she's doing more than moisturizing, she's choosing to love the woman she sees in the mirror. That choice changes everything: the way she smiles, the way she carries herself, the way others respond to her presence. And now I want to turn to you. Maybe you've been feeling invisible lately. Maybe you've looked in the mirror and focused only on what's changed: lines, dryness, thinning hair. Maybe you've even whispered to yourself, "It doesn't matter anymore." But I want you to hear me clearly: it does matter. You matter. Every stage of life deserves care, dignity, and beauty. What if tonight you tried something different? What if, instead of rushing through your evening routine, you slowed down, breathed deeply, and pressed in a drop or two of oil with kindness? What if you gave yourself permission to begin again, not with pressure or perfection, but with patience? That's the invitation Evelyn offers us. Aging gracefully isn't about turning back the clock. It's about respecting the time you've lived and honoring the body that carried you through it. It's about transforming routine into ritual, criticism into compassion, and self-neglect into self-love. So here's my encouragement for you: begin where you are. Use what you have. Love who you see. Whether you try castor oil and baking soda or not, let this story remind you that your worth doesn't fade with age. In fact, it grows richer, deeper, and more luminous with every passing year. And before we close, let me ask you something. Have you ever tried a simple home remedy passed down from your mother, your grandmother, that made you feel cared for in a way no store-bought product ever could? I'd love for you to share your story in the comments below. Your wisdom may be the encouragement another woman needs to hear today. If you found value in Evelyn's story, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps us reach more women who deserve to know that radiant aging is possible for them too. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll be the first to hear about future videos where we'll continue to share simple, evidence-based and empowering ways to live vibrantly after 60. Because aging isn't about losing youth. It's about gaining freedom. Freedom to slow down, to care for yourself, to honor the woman in the mirror. Evelyn discovered that truth in a bottle of oil and a spoonful of baking soda. Now it's your turn to discover what a little care, a little ritual, and a lot of love can do for you.